Alrighty, hey guys, this is Think Outside the Cube, and here we're going to do a little different type of video, nothing I haven't done before though. 2 years ago approximately, I did a video on my iPhone 6 64GB model, and 2 years later we sit here with the iPhone 7 128GB. Now let's see over the past 2 years how the iPhone has evolved and what's new, so let's go ahead and check it out. Now first things first, as you can see here, I do have the 128GB iPhone 7 matte black. Apple just calls it black. Of course I did want the flashy jet black, of course we all do. Most of us do anyways. And but I didn't want to wait till November to get it. It is currently October 7th right now. And I did get this phone about 2 weeks ago, right after launch. Previously, we were with US Cellular. If you don't know what that is a regional carrier based out of Ohio. It's really, really big. It used to be really big here in the eastern North Carolina area just because eastern NC isn't really popular with a bunch of different carriers up until recently. But finally, we decided to drop them after 20 years of my dad having service with them. We finally switched over to Verizon. Verizon offers us $650 for each iPhone 6 we traded in. And so we traded in 2 iPhone 6s, my brother's and mine. So that was $1,400 in credit, if I'm not mistaken on math. And then they actually gave us $400 for my mother's iPhone 5C that we traded in as well. $1,700 worth of credits was well worth the hassle of going to go trade in our phones at Verizon and switch. Now, we're basically not going to be paying our bill for, let's see, 7 to 8 months. 7.8 months, I think, is the exact calculation. And so almost 8 months. Now, Verizon service is a lot better. It's a national carrier if you don't know or if you're not familiar with it. And so we do have service nationwide, opposed to US Cellular, which was a regional carrier. We were limited to service in eastern North Carolina and their native regions. When we went to Raleigh, Greensboro, when we basically left our zip code, we would be roaming, which was very, it was taxing on the battery, the phone. We would be stuck on 3G a lot of times. It just really wasn't worth it. Granted, our phone bill almost doubled with Verizon, so there definitely is some drawbacks with switching over to a mainstream carrier, but I think the positives outweigh the negatives. Now the iPhone 7 is available in 3 configurations. We do have the 32GB model, which is the new base model, replacing the 16GB model. 128 replaces the 64GB model as the second tier up, and then 256 does replace 128 as being the top tier model. Now 256 gigs is a lot of storage, and that's a lot more than most laptops nowadays with SSDs. And so I felt 32 wasn't quite enough for me since I was coming from a 64GB iPhone with only about 10 gigs free. I do take a lot of pictures and videos with my phone at work, and so I really do need that second tier capacity, which in this case was a 128GB model. Now, since we were able to just walk right into the Verizon store, we do have a connection with the Verizon store locally. They were able to get their hands on 3 iPhone 7s. Currently, you do have to order one and wait about 2 weeks, but we were lucky enough to get our hands on 3 that were just there, and we were able to put a hold on those. And they all happen to be 128GB models, since the 32s are just being bought up as soon as they come in. So my brother and my mother, which really don't need 128 gigs, did get that capacity as well. Now my brother did get a matte black one, and then my mom did get a rose gold one, and that's actually what I'm filming on right now. So this is just a test to see how you like the 1080p front-facing camera on the iPhone 7. Now next, what comes in the box? We can go ahead and take a look at that. Right here we do have the iPhone 7 box. I will put in some glamour shots that I did record. Long story short, we lift it up. First things first, it is not the phone anymore. We have a little information packet. Pull things out of here. Sorry if it's a little overexposed. There we go. We do have the quick start guide, which is different than it used to be. We do have warranty, and then of course those signature Apple stickers that Apple loves to give out. Putting those things aside, looking deeper in the box, we do have our wall adapter right there, and then we do have our lightning earbuds with our dongle on the back, and then of course our lightning cable beneath that. I have like a ton of all of those accessories besides those lightning earbuds, which I just use the dongle for. I'm using my older headphones, and so that's why it's all still in the box. Next up, design-wise on the iPhone 7, taking a look at it, I will put in some glamour shots. We can just go ahead and wipe it off and get the fingerprints off. Of course, I am glad I did get the matte black model. As you can see, it's a lot darker. It's very similar to the slate black, the slate gray, I think is what they called it, on the iPhone 5. Now, Apple did have some issues with that scratching after about a year or so, and so that's when they moved to their space gray color. Now, this color, the matte black, is what I like to call it. It does come with the black front. I really wanted a white phone because I usually alternate, but anyways, the matte black on the iPhone 7 is definitely a go-to choice if you are into the stealth look. Now, the antenna bands are isolated to the top of the device opposed to across here and across the bottom as well. So it does look a little cleaner. Now, software-wise, we are running iOS 10.0.2, I think is the exact configuration of this model. And as you can see, I can do a what's on my iPhone video if you guys would be interested in that, trying to avoid the glare here. But iOS 10 so far, it's not too bad. It definitely ran a lot slower than it does on the iPhone 7. It ran a lot slower on my 6 than it does the 7, which is for obvious reasons. The 6 is a 2-year-old phone. Now, I'm still encountering a lot of glitches where it's basically the notifications. They won't size up properly. I'm having to like 3D touch a Snapchat notification just for me to get the option to tap it to open. It's really weird stuff. Definitely some bugs that do need to be worked out, but it's definitely not as bad as when iOS 7 first came out a few years back. That was a horrendous nightmare with the bugs. But they did get a lot of the bugs worked out with the betas on the iOS 10. Now, as for what's new on the iPhone 7, it is definitely just an evolution rather than a revolution. Just some key differences between this and the 6S. Some of those differences do include it being IP67 waterproof. Basically, you can splash it, you can drop it in a pool for a few seconds and grab it out, and it won't be messed up. I wouldn't go swimming with it. I wouldn't intentionally take pictures underwater with it. I definitely would leave that to a life-proof or a waterproof case or anything like that, especially if it is like salt water or chemically based water like in a hot tub or anything like that. I definitely would be cautious with that because the phone can still corrode. It's just got some extra seals and stuff around it to prevent water from getting into the phone. Also, a new camera. It still is the same 12 megapixels from previous years, but it does have a new lens structure, different f2 point, f1 point, it just lets more light in, better low light capabilities. It does have a 4 LED True Tone flash, so it is a little bit brighter, a little bit more accurate in the flash department. Coming to the front, we do have a new home button. It is the Force Touch home button. It is similar to the new trackpads on the MacBooks. All of my MacBooks are from the 2013-14 area, and so I'm not used to the technology. After 2 weeks, I'm still not used to it coming from my 6. I think that's just because I overanalyze it, and every time I press the home button, I think about it not actually pressing. My friend doesn't even notice it. She asked me what the whole point of the selecting the different intensities of the home button were when she was setting up her phone, because she didn't notice a difference. And I said, that's because when you were pressing the home button, you weren't actually pressing it. It was vibrating. And she was astounded. That was crazy to her. Another key difference is we do not have an auxiliary jack on the bottom of the iPhone anymore. We do have stereo speakers though, and we do have the same lightning port as well. Front-facing camera is improved a little bit, 7 megapixels I think over the previous 5, and then we do record in 1080p video, and I'm actually shooting this video on my mother's iPhone 7 right here, as I said. Now, everything that is being filmed in this video is with the iPhone 7. I'm not going to edit it on the iPhone 7. We both know the A10 chip is an extremely powerful chip, a lot more powerful than a lot of computers, a lot of netbooks, a lot of, what are they called, ultrabooks, I guess is the better term than netbook. I could edit it, but I'm not going to, just because I like to lay it all out on the computer in iMovie on the timeline. But it's definitely a powerful little phone. Now, should you upgrade is the bigger question. That's subjective to you. That depends on what you have, your financial state, do you have an upgrade available, is your carrier doing trade-in promotions, all that kind of stuff. If you have the funds and you always upgrade, then go for it, why not? If not, you're not missing out on a whole lot if you have a 6. Speed-wise, I really could kind of tell it was time for me to go ahead and think about upgrading because my 6 was starting to slow down a little bit. It wasn't to the point where I was getting mad with my phone over it being so slow, but there definitely was a few instances where I could notice it being a little faster. Now, if you've got a 6S, you don't quite have an upgrade available, but you could upgrade financially if you wanted to. I would wait, hold off, see what they do next year. 6S is not much different than the 7. Besides those key points that we just figured out that were new or pointed out that were new. Android, that's subjective. If you want to transfer over from a Note 7 maybe, so you don't want to explode and blow up, that's definitely subjective to you. Personally, I'm not an Android fan. I've had a ton of Androids over the years, all being flagships. And I just really didn't appreciate how clunky the software was. The customizability was pretty nice, but I definitely do like the Apple ecosystem and the Apple reliability a whole lot better. Anyways, that'll be it for my iPhone 7 first impressions, 2 weeks, unboxing, all that kind of stuff. If you have any questions about my iPhone 7, feel free to comment down below and ask them. If you want to see more videos about the phone, feel free to comment that. If you're interested in what case I'm using currently, I am using a bumper case. It is actually called the Rhino Shield Bumper. It actually has like an 11-foot drop protection. I will insert some pictures here on how it looks on the phone. This is the navy blue, dark blue option. It is my favorite case I've gotten for the iPhone 7 so far. I do have a few others in the house that I'm not really too fond of. This one is very, very nicely priced, and it since I do have the matte black iPhone, I'm not worried about scratches or anything like that. I do plan on getting a glass screen protector, but this is the great companion just for some added drop protection, but you still want to maintain the nice looks of the iPhone 7 and the aluminum feel. I'll leave this link below. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video.